afternoon. Where's my lights? Someone's turned my lights off. There we go. Afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? Afternoon, was Jack, Fletch, Mumo, Peter, Elevated Trading Hub, Soul Trader, No Show, must have got lost amongst all them boxes. Yep. See how many boxes I've got. Lots. Yeah. And I'm here. Sorry, I'm late. I've just late, basically. Just late. Afternoon, Virginia. So, just a quick recap on this morning's news before we have a look at the markets. Retail sales for the CAD came out negative, but it was like ever so slightly negative. It was like a 0.1 differential, which is nothing. So, basically, no news there. Philly Fed was out, but doesn't really do anything anyway. So yeah, upshot of the news on the Canadian. It is negative news. There is a little bit of negative movement on the CAD, but not a lot. So as you can see, Euro kind of spiked up a little bit against the CAD, but hasn't really done anything. So yeah, load of rubbish. Main news we've had today is that the Fed are in a position as early as July to cut rates. That's new. We weren't expecting it to happen in July, but that is their potential movement on rates now. So a drop in interest rates for the US dollar coming up in July, which means negative dollar. So as you can see, we had a big drop on the dollar index. Obviously, that does the inversion on the indices. So a big spike up on the US. I say big spike. It wasn't a very big spike. But obviously that has to be taken with a little bit of caution because the tariff situation still isn't 100% sorted. And obviously if they go to war with Iran, that's going to change everything. So the markets, as you can see from the ADR dashboard, not really moved. So we have had some movement on the US dollar, but it's more of a whipsaw than anything. So I don't think the market's going to pay an awful lot of attention to that at the moment because there's too much other stuff going on. We knew they were looking to drop rates, but July seems a bit keen to me. That's next month. So we'll see. Dropping the yen at the moment, which is going on. So I'm going to take another Swiss yen short today. But apart from that, not a lot to report this morning. If we have a look at the indices, as you can see, there's been quite a bit of upside movement pre-market. Today is a quadruple witching. We covered this in the live room this morning. So it's a quadruple options expiry. So it's options expiries and futures expiries all happening on the same day, which means the market needs to unfold a lot of positions potentially. So quite often on these types of days, we get very big moves, well over an ADR. So we will see what happens today. If it breaks, as it has on the NASDAQ and the S&P, it's quite possibly going to just break and go and continue today. The downside is obviously we've already had a fair amount of upside movement, which means it may have already done a fair bit of its daily move. So we'll see where we go. But yeah, quadruple witching day, meaning plenty of volatility and plenty of volume. So we'll see where we go. Morning, everybody else. Momo, Peter, everybody else. I've said hello to everybody, haven't I? Meh. Morning, Sebastian. Afternoon, even. Morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Inside bar forming on the Dow. We are attempting to break long on the NASDAQ and the S&P, but obviously we're already going, so we will see. There's plenty of room on these today. So the weekly high all the way back there is kind of your first initial resistance to the upside. That's one ADR. So that's an ADR from the lows. An ADR from the open. So there's plenty of room to the upside basically today. NASDAQ very much in the same boat, a little bit closer on the NASDAQ, just above my partial today. But then obviously we've got more upside for the all-time highs. And the Dow, we've got a little bit more room because obviously the Dow's been pulling back like the DAX has a little bit more. So there's lots of room on the Dow to go wherever it wants to today, really. But there's no trades at the moment on that. The range is too tight. 10-minute range is also going to be an inside bar at the moment. We'll see. So yeah, we'll see where we go. Bit of a whippy morning this morning. That's the DAX. I did get a profitable trade on the DAX this morning, which I got out on because it just wasn't going anywhere. There was no volume this morning, and then it really took off. So yeah, unfortunate, but yeah, profitable trade on that. The FTSE was a whipsaw and a stop out this morning. So that's the trade long on the FTSE this morning. Stopped out, didn't get anywhere, just couldn't get any traction. As you can see, it's just not going anywhere at the minute. So yeah, bit of a bum day so far. And I've got some trades to pay for today. So yesterday, I completely forgot it was a half day. And yeah, I didn't get out of my shorts before the early market closed. So I had to take a small loss on them this morning when they gapped up. Operator error. But anyway, we'll see where we go. So we're breaking long at the moment, S&P and the NAS. I'm going to move my partial profit takes up today, just in case we get one of those lovely big parabolic moves. There you go. The Dow is breaking. So going to get a 10-minute range break on the Dow in 40 seconds. Why is my sound not working? Yeah, got sound. Afternoon, church. David, good afternoon. Goat. Like it. Very many goats. I am a goat herder. I come from a farm. The firm herds goats. There you go. Thank you very much for that, David. Much appreciated. It will go towards boxes. Actually, this time it's going towards bubble wrap. Big 500 meter. No, it's not 500 meters. Half a meter by, I think it was 500 meters. Seems a lot, doesn't it? But bubble wrap really runs out quickly. There's the range on the Dow, long on the Dow. Yeah, so I bought a load of bubble wrap today. So that will pay for the bubble wrap. Thank you. It's £11 for a very large bubble wrap thing, which is great fun. I was so tempted just to unravel it and dive on it. It'd be so much good fun, wouldn't it? Right, anyway, bubble wrap. Stop talking about bubble wrap. ADRs today, you've just got the £1 CAD. That's come straight off of ADR, 5-minute reversal alert. Straight at ADR and back down again. So that was a lovely little reversal. Obviously, buying the pound at the moment is not really the best thing to do because we had a bad retail on it this morning. Very bad. It's the biggest, baddest. I sound like Donald Trump. It's a tremendous miss that was today. 2.7 on a forecast of 0.5, which means it's 2.2. It's differential, which is very big. So the pound did drop this morning, but as you can see, Canadian has dropped even further on the back of that news with their figures. So at the moment, we've got some strength coming into that pound today. A bit odd considering the retail figures were so bad, but market doesn't seem to be batting an eyelid. Market's off. So for some reason, they're buying up the pound at the minute. Either that or everything else is just really, really weak today. So movements on the pound there, but nothing else has hit ADR today. RSIs, you've got a couple to look at as opportunities to get in. Euro CAD, I'm already in that. So that is extended on the 4-hour. Hello, change charts. So yeah, I'm already in that. I've been in it for a bit, trying to get out of it. It's just stuck. So that high there, obviously, is was a lovely entry, but I already had trades on. So first entry was back there on the drop. So I've already taken one off, put that one back on. So the next trade is going on in propulsion. So if we can get a push up into ADR today, I will take another short, but that is extended on the 4-hour. So there's an opportunity to get in now. Better off waiting for it to get up there, really. There's absolutely no reason for it to turn here. there's an argument for watching that area. But obviously in propulsion would be the obvious place to take a short from. The pound CAD is also extended. That's your ADR hit today. So that's a 4-hour RSI extension. It's also an hourly RSI extension. Yeah. And it's an ADR hit. So you've got confluence there, 4-hour RSI extension, hourly RSI extension, and ADR hit. So it's done its average daily range, and it's also been pushing for 3 days straight. So lovely mean reversion opportunity. Fairly decent propulsion gap there. We looked at this one this morning for a short out of that propulsion, which was that support. Obviously, it invalidated that, went straight back up the other way as the CAD started to drop. Oil price is coming down, which is why the CAD's moving. So if you do take this one, and it is a good looking short, you've got a lovely backup coming on propulsion here. So this double top of a weekly high. That propulsion gap, yep. So that's where they broke down below that low. Then they added more size over and over and over again. So this is a really strong sell area. You've got 2 weekly highs in there and a strong propulsion move back down to the downside. And obviously market structure has been very bearish. So if it does get back up into there, we're likely to start forming a range. So good looking short opportunity on that one. So you can get into that straight away. You've already had a reversal on the M5, M15. You're just about to get a reversal out in 41 seconds. So that is going to give you a reversal out on the 15-minute time frame as well. So all looking good for shorts on that. I'm already long the CAD. I'm already short the pound. There's absolutely no point in me taking the pound CAD short because I'm already in it by proxy. So right. Sorry, I'm having to drink lots. It's absolutely baking here. In England, we do not do hot weather. Yeah. As soon as hot weather comes out, melt. Immediately stop. Can't do anything. Absolutely. Dead. Fans, not kicking it. I learned an interesting fact about fans. Everybody's using fans wrong. If you open 2 windows in your room, shut the door, put the fan by one window blowing out, what it does is it blows all the hot air out of your room by sucking the hot air out. And as it's sucking hot air out of your room, it's automatically pulling in through the other window the cooler air from outside. Everybody puts fans on, points them towards themselves and goes, oh, isn't it lovely all that hot air being blown at me? Whereas you should point your fan out the window. Did not know that. Anybody else know that? Banked pretty decent returns on the false ORB breaks this morning using 1 minute MRA pull back into range. Cool. And then it broke out and it went mad, didn't it? So yeah, there were false breakouts this morning. You would have got entries a couple of times this morning. That was a lovely one. DAX. FTSE's obviously just not interested at all. So we're getting a lot of this at the moment, aren't we? I mean, it's just, at the minute, it's just choppy. It just feels at the moment like there's something, I don't know, stalling. The market just seems like it's stalling at the moment. It's really weird. But you put new warm air in when it's hot outside. Yes, so if it's hotter outside than it is inside, you don't do it. But if it's hotter in your room than it is outside, you're better off with your fan blowing out of the window and sucking in the cooler air. So obviously you need a couple of pieces of equipment here. 1, a fan. 2 windows. And 3, the thermostat inside and outside. Quite complicated, but it's much easier just to put the fan on you really at the end of the day, isn't it? Each their own. We'll see how we get on. We are pulling back at the minute. If anybody got any FX pairs they want to look at, let me know. I did go through all the pairs this morning. We had a really good session this morning, which went on for absolutely ages. I think it was about 2 hours this morning, where we covered quite a lot of depth on fundamentals. Yeah, 2 hours this morning. So it's worth watching that because I go through a lot of information about fundamentals this morning. We look at all this sort of stuff and Anton Creel stuff. If any of you are familiar with Anton Creel and his work on fundamentals and economics, I've done his course, went through all of that stuff as well. Went through loads and loads of fundamental data this morning. So, but at the end of the day, it's going to go up or down, isn't it? So, putting back inside range at the minute. So just quickly go through my positions at the minute. I've still got my oil trade on. It is pulling back at the moment. We've got a gap down situation, which we haven't managed to fill yet today. So I've taken profit on it already with 2 positions. I've got the rest on. There's my average. We're within an ADR, my average at the moment, and it's the Thursday low. The Wednesday low is pretty much where my entry is. So I'm looking today for them to try and come up and do this gap fill, and hopefully we'll just close up here. I'm hoping we're just going to hold at the minute. We're struggling to break out of that initial spike high on the Iran conflict. So that's kind of where I am with it, still in long. I'm tempted, I might bank some. If we are bullish at end of day, I might bank one. Because if that happens, that will be in profit. So I'll have basically 4 positions in profit to take through the weekend, hoping that it's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? But hoping it escalates with Iran at the weekend, because if it does, the oil price is going up. Obviously, I don't want it to escalate. No one ever wants a war, but war's good for trading. So yeah, that's where that's what I would like to happen. Nobody get hurt. Just bomb a load of stuff, but no one get hurt. Drive the oil price up. Or Iran, just turn off the oil pipes. That'll do. Don't get bombed, just turn off the oil pipes. Pound US dollar in that short at the minute. Stuck really on this, can't get anywhere. I've already banked on it. That's in profit. I'm looking for this propulsion hold and continuation short. I think this is going to turn around now. I think we're going to start to see some strength in that dollar. We've had lovely negative news on the pound today. So hopefully that will start to come back down again. Euro pound, I'm not in. I was going to get in this morning. Should have done. We looked at this in the live room this morning, and I said about taking that short. I'd rather take it from a little bit higher up, but if we could double top, that's where I would love to have got in today, but it's not happening. I reckon this is coming down into that propulsion. I have got a lot of exposure already on euro and pound. I've got 2 euro shorts on, and I've also got the pound short. So I don't really want any more euro exposure, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd take that. Looks good. Lovely divergence, look. Bearish divergence. With a reversal alert and retest. So it does look like structure's breaking, rolling over there. Euro Swiss, I have shorts on at the moment, just the 2. As you can see, I got out on that big news spike. We pulled back. I went to short again. Didn't work out. Came up into the resistance highs, and that's where we are. So still short on that. Happy to be short on that because Swiss franc should hopefully power up on if there's a safe haven run. Euro CAD, I've got 3 on. I'm waiting for it to come up and test the highs to get the 4th. Swiss yen short. This one is a little bit, I don't know. I'm not really confident with this trade at all at the minute. It's holding. I really want to get in another position. That's not going to let me in, is it? I'm just going to sell at market. I want in at the highs. So I want to be in there just to get that average close. I want the average within an ADR. These propulsion gaps to the downside are prime candidates for a drop, which means I'll be able to get out and scale out of some of it, but I want to be in it. So yeah, taking another short manually there. Aussie dollar, US dollar, not really interested. It's just flip-flopping around at the moment. And Aussie New Zealand, first long on. So I took long this morning. in the propulsion gap bounce. So accumulation. Yeah. And we had that break with into propulsion where they resold. Then we came back into the buyer propulsion who bought the highs. And now we're off. So looking for a continuation bounce on the Aussie New Zealand to the upside. And target on that will be somewhere around that propulsion. Just a single straight in, straight out. Possibly. We'll see. There you go. So that's what I've got on. Stopped out of everything. Stopped out of everything. Flip short. Please don't be choppy. It's a quadruple witching. We should be having massive movement. When it's hotter outside, jump in your pool. I live in the UK. We don't have pools. Don't forget, in the UK, we get, if we're lucky, 6 weeks worth of sunshine, summer. That's it. Let the A's do the job, yeah. So if I had a pool, yes, I would be jumping in it. Luckily, I live less than half a mile away from the sea. So I just basically grab my paddleboard, put it in the back of the car, down the beach. We filled it next week when Trump attacks Iran on the weekend. He could well do that, couldn't he? Just go in at the weekend. Makes sense. He will be buying the crap out of it. This is the thing. It's dipping at the moment, so we know it's not being bought, oil. But you never know. Mr. Manipulator. What do you think about US dollar CAD? So this was basically that extension there. So the entry on this, on the hourly, was, we looked at this one this morning. So the entry on the hourly was back here, which you got out of. And then the next entry came here, which you wouldn't have got out of because it didn't move far enough. So that's already an exit. So you're out of your longs if you were long. Short looks like the place to short it, doesn't it? Yeah. So this is the propulsion move down. But this little low here is kind of just sitting on its own in no man's land. So this propulsion gap here is a news event. It's nothing particularly exciting, but we are holding that weekly high at the moment. I just get this feeling that the US is going to start to power up now. It looks like after we got that reverse alert, it looks like we are starting to strengthen. Really, really unsure what's going to happen with this conflict and really unsure how that is going to affect the dollar as well. So it's a little bit of a tricky one to call. Oil price is going to affect this. Pound New Zealand's 125 of its weekly range. Oil price is going to affect both of these. I would favour the dollar over the Canadian, but you can't really buy it here. So there was a short signal there. If you're short already, you would be out. But if you're in long, you haven't got a problem, have you? You're out. And if you got in there, you'd have scaled in and got out. If you got in there, you'd have got out. If you got in there, you'd have scaled in and got out. So if you're still in long, you're obviously just holding it. So hold it. Do what you want, but it's obviously going the right way. And continuing up today, look. Strong US dollar. Strong pound as well. Not strong oil. In my opinion, don't hold US dollar positions over the weekend. It could be worse next week. Could be. You just don't know, do you? What's going to happen this weekend? Could be nothing. The fact that he's come out and said it's going to be 2 weeks before he makes a decision is just utter rubbish, isn't it? He's not going to sit there and go, do you know what? I'll give it 2 weeks. He's already sent the planes. The bunker busters are there. He was going to do it within 24 hours. Something stopped him doing it. I don't know what it is, but I'd be very surprised if it's 2 weeks. it could well be this weekend. So yeah, we have to wait and see. Just got to keep your eyes peeled on the news. But yeah, I mean, flat is a good position to be in at the moment because obviously there's an awful lot of uncertainty out there. Fundamental thoughts on the US dollar yen, US dollar Swiss? Fundamentals. Well, the Swiss is weak. The yen is kind of in the middle of nowhere at the moment. And the dollar should be weakening because they've just announced that they're potentially going to drop interest rates. So they're all negative. So Swiss has just reduced rates to 0. Negative. Japanese decided to keep rates the same. Not really negative, but not positive. Dollar, nothing but bad news everywhere. Negative. And the Fed today announcing interest rate changes, which is going to be a drop, may be coming next month. Negative. So if you're trading US dollar yen and US dollar Swiss, you're trading in negative against negative, which is neutral. They cancel each other out. So there's no bias either way. The bias that is the safest at the moment would be to short both of those, because if there is a conflict escalation, you are going to get a lot of money pulled out the stock markets and pumped into the Swiss franc and the yen because they're the safe haven currencies. So the Swiss franc will power up and so will the yen. And obviously, if the Swiss franc powers up, US dollar drops against the Swiss. Same with the yen. But the yen, if you look at the safe haven runs we've had recently, so if you look at that move there, and then you look at the Swiss yen, Aussie dollar Swiss, pound Swiss, New Zealand Swiss, US Swiss, not as much because obviously the money went into the US because they were the ones that said they were going to go in and start sorting things out. Look at the yen. What you got out of the yen? Very little. It was a little bit actually on the yen, but not as much. So the yen doesn't seem to be, definitely not as much on the CAD. Look at the CAD Swiss or look at the CAD yen. So the yen is not seeming to benefit quite as much from safe haven runs at the moment as the Swiss franc is. It is still beneficiary because it's a low interest rate. So basically what you do is when there's conflict, when there is uncertainty, when there is fear, you liquidate risky assets, mainly stocks, and you basically convert that into safe assets. Safe havens are low interest rate, low volatility currencies. Yeah, you can't get lower than 0. Half is closest damn. Yeah, this is why the Swiss and the yen are always safe havens. So you look at the interest rates at the moment. The Swiss and the yen are down there. If you're going to put your money somewhere safe, you put it there. So if it kicks off, everything goes down against the yen and the Swiss. But you're asking me to predict the future of the conflict in Iran and Israel. I can't do that. So I have no idea. Go where it's going. So short breaks are on. I'm just going to move my partials down as well. I'll leave that one there on the Dow. Struggling today again. Very tricky at the minute. Where's this quadruple witching power then? It doesn't necessarily mean, does it? This is the thing with these quadruple witchings and these triple witchings. You get a lot of volume, but people forget the fact that volume does not equal direction. Volume equals large orders going in. But if you've got 100 million large orders going long and 100 million large orders going short, you're not moving anywhere, are you? So the only reason triple witchings and quadruple witchings move the market is if there is an imbalance in order flow, which it doesn't look today as if we've got, does it? Well, we might get a move down. We'll see. Afternoon, Ryan. Afternoon, Mark. I got my in and out on that false breakout on the 1 minute market reversal alert. Good one, David. What are you trading, NASDAQ or S&P? So that's your opening range. Nice little trade. My bias is still long on the US indices. Looks like a pullback. What, on this? Could be, yeah. Dangerous having a bias. But it could do anything. If it gets down to there, that would be a good spot to buy, definitely, if it gets down there. Triple witching today. Not triple witching, quadruple today. Expect a lot of volume. Yeah, as I just said, volume does not equal direction. Volume equals lots of orders. If they're all equally split, 50-50 long and short, we get a load of volume and we don't get any movement, which is the dangerous part about this sort of price action. Euro US dollar. Just not going anywhere, is it? It's not doing anything at the minute. So at the moment, obviously shorting out of the upside propulsion gap, just about tapped it. So we tapped into Wednesday's high today twice and have rejected. So it does look like it's bearish. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, double top, double bottom. We're going to form a range. This propulsion break is what we rebought yesterday. So you're either going to sell that or this buy is what's going to continue the market up. So we're either going to break through there out of this propulsion break or this propulsion break, or we're putting back on that. One of those two things is going to happen. Pound US dollar gave me a bearish reversal alert. What time frame? 5 minute. There you go. So nice breakdown. That looks like pound dollar strength coming through. So strong dollar. Euro US dollar be coming down as well, which means the stock market should be coming down. Come on. Really do with not having a down day today. So downside targets today. Obviously, we've got the gap fill to do. Yesterday was an early close. So we did gap up overnight, and it's quite a small gap considering it was an early close. So the open obviously is here. So there's your actual gap, which is absolutely huge. So if we are going to get some decent volume and it's going to be imbalanced, I don't see why they wouldn't just go for this gap today to the downside. So obviously that's where momentum is going at the moment. So that's the direction I'm going at. That's where you want to be watching on the S&P. I've put my partial down here because that is where we were as a low, which kind of looked like it was failing before the news hit. So this is where I would look for cautionary longs. That's where I'm going to try and take a partial today because I just want to get some profit. The S&P, sorry, that's the S&P. NASDAQ downside, similar. There's your propulsion break on the news. Yeah, so watch this for a rebuy. Obviously, this very big sell-off here, this is all kind of one massive propulsion gap. So what I'd like to see is them sort of struggling at that point for a short. I'm going to take that. Gap fill obviously is all the way down there. So the NAS and the S&P are going to be very much the same. Dow Jones is not breaking. But obviously we've still got the same thing. We've got gap fill in play on the Dow. Just can't get anywhere there at the moment. So again, watch this high, this propulsion move on the news, which they retested and rebought. At the moment, they're rebuying this. So if we can break through that, we should easily flush down into this high. And then it's a case of whether or not we can break down, test that gap. But struggling in at the Dow today. It all seems to be struggling. The whole thing seems to be struggling at the moment. The market just seems to be struggling. It's just, it feels aimless and lost. Triggered on the Swiss yen short. I'm already in it. So there's your reversal alert. 15-minute. Got a bit of way to go on that. So hourly high. So we're tapping back into that high from the beginning of the week on Monday. Sorry, Tuesday. That's high of week. Literally double topped today. In fact, we just put a new high in. So new high of the week, rejecting at the moment. So potentially exactly where you want to be getting in. There's your reversal alert. And that is your retest. So if we break that low, should be good to go. That should be my slogan, shouldn't it? If I had a slogan. I haven't got a slogan. Maybe I should have a slogan. If it breaks the low, we're good to go. Just going to see if the fear and greed index is in. Not at the moment. US issues fresh Iran-related sanctions. Even if it's dismantled, Iran's capabilities are needed. From Israel again. With human rights. Hit the high, reach the sky. Great book to read. Douglas Bader story. Hit the high, reach for the sky. That's completely the opposite, though, isn't it? If you hit the highs and then you buy, you're probably going to be starting to cry. I just made it up. If you hit the highs and then you buy, that means you're going to cry. Sell the high. You'll be fine. Oh dear. It's one of those. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's quadruple witching. It sends everybody mad. It's like a full moon. Everyone starts howling. Okay, this Dow cannot break this low. We are stuck in propulsion. So buyers are adding more size here. Absolutely absorbing every sell order that comes in at the minute. So it's looking like we are struggling to break out on the Dow today, which I'm quite surprised about because we've got the NAS and the S&P short. I think it's going to be a long one. So if we are going to trend today, I think probably it's going to be one of those sort of jerky trends. I don't think we're going to be parabolic, which is what I was kind of hoping. We were just going to get a parabolic move for an hour or so at the open, because obviously they're just getting rid of all the options expiries, but it's not happening, is it? So what we seem to be having at the minute is just kind of stuttery price action that can't really get going at all. So if it's going to be one of those days, it's going to be just kind of a messy price action move, I think. So that's all I'm going to do today. There's no more signals I'm going to take. If they work out, great. I'll be back to profit. TP on that is going to be that's 1300. Put that down. Put that back in the gap fill. TP on the NASDAQ is 1200, so that'd be 2.5 roughly. I'm only going to take 75% of that, so that'd be $2,000 banked at the partials, which obviously gets me back to break even for the day. Assuming the Dow goes with it, the Dow's going to be today's profit. So if I can get a partial on the Dow, that should put me 500 to 600 up, and then obviously whatever I get on the runners. So I'm just fingers crossed for shorts at the minute. But that's all I can do today. Not a lot else to do. Just waiting for the market to decide if it's going to actually bother doing any large volume. It'll all be done by lunch, typically. So if we haven't gone anywhere in the next hour, I'd say it's probably over today. We will see. Right. I think I'm going to leave it there. There's not much else I can really talk about today. How many times give you the price to break a propulsion gap? How many times give you the price to break a propulsion gap? Don't understand the question, Sebastian. In the Dow, for example, in M5, should price break that or with the second attempt? There's a language barrier going on here. So it for me, trading the ORB strategy on this account, that's it. It's done. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If you want to trade more, your choice is that is holding, so go for a new high of the day, or that is going to hold and we're going to break down. So basically all price does is it moves from propulsion to propulsion. Propulsion is caused at levels, and propulsion gaps are caused by large volume breakouts of previous highs. So where you have a high, when you drop from a high, you have a load of volume sitting there waiting to add more size to protect that level. When you get to that level, you need a large volume spike to drive through those sellers, which is what causes a propulsion gap. When that happens, the sellers flip long. Yeah, which means that when you come back to that large propulsion move, they add more size to their order. So you've got a propulsion move, which is all these guys being caught offside, stopping and reversing their orders. And then everybody that's broken out there, when we come back to here, buying more to protect the level they've broken out from, to drive it higher to take profit. And all the people there flipping long, going with them. A lot of people will wait for the break and buy the retest of the break. Yeah, so you get loads of size added. The size is added at propulsion. So what we've got here is an accumulation break, propulsion gap. Yeah, so this is where the buyers are at the moment. What we've got here is the upside failing. So there's an upside failed auction and the basically sellers taking control of the market. This is where the sellers are. So what you've got is a situation where the battle lines are drawn between the buyers and the sellers. One of them is going to get run over. I don't know which. We'll find out. But if you stop out on an order, your choice is, when this stops out here, what I could do is immediately hit the sell button again and put a stop above that high. Because either they are going to hold and it's going to drop and they're going to run these buyers over and come back down and retest this area, or these buyers are going to hold. So when you stop out on that, you flip and reverse and buy and assume that that is going to hold, which means we're going to break that high. One of those two things is guaranteed to happen, because it's not just going to sit here and do this for the entire day. Yeah, that's going to break or that's going to break, guaranteed. Your job as a trader is to pick one, and then you wrap risk around that idea. So if your idea is to go long now because you think the buyers that broke this accumulation and added are the winners, you hit the buy button now, you put a stop loss there, because if you're wrong, these guys are going to run you over. When they run you over, stop and reverse and flip short with them, and then drive it back down into this propulsion gap where these buyers are, who will attempt to hold that level. If there's a massive volume of sellers coming in, they won't be able to, and they will get broken through. Everyone that's long there will stop out at their order and flip short, driving price further down, which will create a new propulsion gap. That propulsion gap, when it comes and gets retested, will either get added to or it won't. This is all the market does all day long on every single symbol and instrument you can find out there. It literally just creates propulsion moves, which either stick and work and cause market structure, or they don't. If they don't work, they cause ranges. That's all it does. The market can only do two things. It's either moving from A to B, or it's not. That is what we call a rotation day. That is what we call a trend day. That's all it does. It goes up and it goes down, and it moves from propulsion to propulsion. This is a stupid place to have a stop loss. It's part of the strategy, so that's where it is. But if you're following, and this is because I'm not following it, this is not a propulsion gap strategy. This is a opening range breakout. It's a breakout strategy. It's not a propulsion strategy. Propulsion strategies are pullback strategies. If you were going to trade this as a propulsion strategy, first of all, you wouldn't have sold there, you'd have bought, but you would have a stop loss above that propulsion gap or above that high. Somewhere up here, you'd have a stop, because you're assuming that that is where we're going to drive back down from. You can trade it as many times as you like, because these propulsion gaps are going to appear all day long. Stopped out. So no profit on the Dow today. We're holding short on the S&P and the NAS. So yeah, there's your choice. Are you a seller or are you a buyer? If you're a buyer, you've missed it. If you're a seller, get in now. That means the selling volume is not high enough to break that level. Yeah. If every single candlestick on a chart is a representation of price over time. That is all it is. We make it up as human beings. The market does not have candlesticks. The market does not see candlesticks. It is a price-driven thing. Algorithms and traders buy and sell prices. They don't have candlesticks. Time is an illusion. Yeah, an algorithm will not go, I'm getting into the market on the close of that 5-minute candle and I'm going to hold it for 10 minutes. The market gets in at a price and it tries to achieve a different price to create a profit, to create alpha. That's its job. When there's a large volume of orders in the same direction, it creates interest. in that direction. So when you come back to the level where the interest was created, traders who missed the move, tend to add and start new moves themselves. Traders that are already in there will add more size to keep their existing position afloat and in profit. Think of it like a battlefield. Yeah. These are your greens, these are your reds. Pick a uniform. Yeah. In the moment, I'd be a red. But then that's my opinion. Be a green if you want. I don't know. One of them is going to work. So either this is going to go and turn grey, or that is going to go and turn grey. This is certainly the bigger short-term move, but this candlestick you're seeing right now is basically a load of sellers selling, because there's 100 million going short at the moment and there's only 75 million going long. So it means that we can't go long because they are overwhelming us. They are eating our 75 million, which means there's 25 million remaining to drive this short. We've run out of cash. We've run out of troops. But who's to say there's not 100 million backup coming? So the next candlestick will be a bullish one, which will close that propulsion gap. Every candlestick is what we make. We just basically say, show me the open, high, low, and close of the last 5 minutes. Someone else is sitting there going, this looks massively bearish. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no bulls here today. Look, bear, bear, bear. What are you on about? They haven't seen a buyer because they're on the 15-minute time frame. Their representation of price over time gives them a completely different view of the market. There's also someone sitting on the hourly time frame at the moment going, there's no way I'm buying this today. There's nothing but sellers in the market. Somebody on the 1 minute chart is confused as hell. They haven't got a clue what's going on. Going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's what it's doing. Sorry, that's the 1 minute chart. Look, 1 minute traders are like, long it, short it, long it, short it, long it, short it, long it, short it. I don't know what to do. Stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out, stop out. 1 minute charts. Not for me. A lot of people trade them. David trades it. Not for me. There you go. So exactly what I just said. That is the sellers adding to their orders. That is the buyers run over. This move here is caused by the sellers also flipping, the buyers flipping and reversing short. So these sellers have created additional selling pressure by stopping out the buyers and making them join their team. So where we had the greens here and the reds here, the red coats and the green coats, just because it's an American session, I'm going to talk Civil War. I know they weren't green, but some of them were red. I don't even know if that's the right one, is it? I don't know much about American history. But yeah, you got the greens there and you got the reds there. Basically, the reds came flying in and the greens went, you got us. Give us one of your uniforms. We'll be on your side. That's what causes this. Their army just got way stronger. So now we're running straight into the next backup load of green coats sitting here. There's a load of red coats running towards them. How many greens are there? How many reds are there? You don't know. But the outcome of that battle is going to be, if he's got 100 million and he's got 50 million, it's going to be that. If he's got 150 million and he's got 100 million, it's going to be that. That will break or that will break. This is it. This is all the market is a representation of price over time and large order blocks from institutional buying and selling being placed in the market, showing you where the price has been and where the price is going. You can read blue blocks on a chart, you've got half a chance. Blue and grey. Yep. You can change it to candlesticks. Well, blue and grey is the propulsion caps, but you can change the candlesticks. I was talking red and green because it's the green army is the buyers and the red army is the sellers. I'm taking this far too seriously, aren't I? A question. I have just moved my accounts on a dedicated server. Will the Posier catch up with the open trades? Yeah. Although there are calculations done daily to do with loss recovery that will be reset if you restart. So it depends. I can't answer. The EA will know what to do based on previous trades, but obviously what it's going to do on your account, I can't say because I don't know what your last lots of trades were. But yeah, you can see it on the chart. You can see what it's doing. If you find that the next risk amount is too small and you were expecting it to increase risk and it didn't, it's because it's read today's loss, yesterday's loss, and the last trade's loss in a different way because it forgets some of this information every single day. So if you keep it on the chart and you never touch it, it will remember the information. If you don't, it forgets it, basically. So all you got to do is, if you think actually that should be higher, just go in and put more risk on. So for today, change that to 0.75 risk, for example, and today just take a slightly larger position. When you get that profit back, switch it back down to where it should be. So you can adjust it on the fly if you want to. Right, S&P. My trading stops kicking in too fast. I'm going to move that up because I've moved my target down. I haven't adjusted my trailing stop. I'm going to leave that running, but I'm using 20% of ADR as a trailer. So this is where I said to watch for buyers. We're just about to create a propulsion gap. We've got 30 seconds left. We're creating a propulsion gap here. So we've got a seller's army here. We've got a new seller's army there. We've just run over this buyer's army. We've got another buyer's army which are holding the line here. So the new battle line is drawn there and here. It will be in 30 seconds, 20 seconds. That is where the sellers are sitting right now. So they've broken this low. So the buyers tried to get back through, were overwhelmed. Buyers have flipped short. This is where the sellers are now. So the buyers are now trying to come back out of this area and they are going to hit a load of sellers there. So if we're going to get a strong, aggressive trend today, it's going to do that. If it's going to be a weak trend, we'll probably pull back into there and continue short. If it's going to be a rotation day, these guys are going to hold the line on the break and we're just going to come up and retest the highs up here and hit those guys and we're going to sit around and do rotation. This is reading the market. You have no idea which it's going to be. Your job is to guess. And be lucky. Half of trading is luck. So break even on S&P. That's quite a nice break even level. Because if that holds, that should be safe. That is where my target is, obviously, down here. So I'll watch it if we get down to there. NASDAQ will be doing the same thing. Oh, that's a bit tight. I'm going to move my trailer up on the NAS. NAS is very close to target. There's an argument for moving target down even further today. This looks really heavy. So hopefully this is the quadruple witching volume that we were expecting, and the market is just selling off a load of options contracts, options expiries. You can kind of tell if you look at the puts and the calls on the options market, it gives you a kind of indication as to directional bias. But the problem with the options market puts and calls is you don't know how many of those are actually going to be hold and are going to be fulfilled contracts and how many need to be expired or how many need to get out so they're not fulfilled. So although you can kind of see a bias on the market, you can't tell really what's going to be executed until it actually gets underway. Hopefully this is it. So look at ADR today. That is ADR to the downside from the open, which is going to be roughly 27,000. That's 35 actually. Oh, sorry, it's from there, isn't it? Yeah. So from the break low down, that's one ADR, 27, 270 points. So that is your average daily range. That's achievable easily today. And that is also going to be your gap fill. Can't see it. It's just behind my head. But that's your gap fill as well. So good target to aim for today. Just need to survive long enough in the market for it to get there without getting stopped out. Like the Dow. So buyer stepping in. Very heavy today. Feels like it wants to go. If I hadn't made a loss this morning, I probably would be taking this now because it's pulling back quite hard. Just going to move my trailer up a little. The only reason I'm adjusting this trailer manually, I wouldn't normally do that, is because I've extended my target, which means that my trailer's kicking in too fast. I'd normally have that kicking in when the partial close is complete, just to protect the order. But obviously, it's gone beyond the partial. That was my partial today. I think it was there. So somewhere like that. Where's the stop? It was there. 40, so it'd be 80. Yeah, so that was my target today. So it's actually hit partial target already. But obviously I moved it down, trying to get 3 out of it instead of 2. Chasing losses, not a good thing to do. Will the Posier... oh yeah, I've answered that one, haven't I? No more questions. This is good. This is the Friday Q&A session, you know. Anyway, I was going, wasn't I? Before I got a question. Look at that. Textbook stop out. Look at that. Okay, so we've got propulsion gaps looking very much the same at the moment on these two. Good moves today. Okay, so inside bar S&P Nasdaq indecision. So equilibrium between buyers and sellers at the moment. So we're just waiting to see who is going to step in with the biggest order next. It looks at the moment from the Dow like it is going to be a short. Would be good. He says as the Dow pushes up. I've got someone coming around to collect something in a minute, so I have to go. So just going to let this run. So I'm happy. That trailer's gone too fast. I'm just going to move this trailer up a little bit. I'm going to just manually adjust this trailer on the NAS. I don't really want to change my set file, so I'm going to do it manually every candle. But I don't want to get stopped out really on this on a pullback, a la that. So I'm just giving it a bit of room in case it pushes through that propulsion. Obviously, those are both break-evens. So, I mean, if it's a break-even today, it's nothing I can do about it. But I'm hopeful that we are just going to drive today. So we are due a big move, well overdue a big move. So I'm hoping that we are going to get that big move today and just drop down. So if we get down to those targets, that's it. And then I'll have a look on Monday and see where we go. But if we can get that gap fill done, that'd be lovely. FX wise, I'm going to leave everything running personally at the minute. I will be keeping an eye on oil. Oil does close a little bit earlier. So oil closes sort of 9 o'clock UK time. So if we are up here and we haven't broken that high, obviously, we've got a reversal and we're potentially on second arm retest. So what I might do is close one and just bank one. But that's all I'm going to do on the FX side today. Unless we get some massive movement in the pound US or something like that. And obviously this thing collapses down beyond ADR, which, at the moment, it looks like it's possibly going to do, doesn't it? So we've got to get through this here. So this is where the sellers have stepped in. We've got to get through here. If we can get through there, we're potentially going to run lower the day, 125 from yesterday. So if we do get down to there, I will take another partial on the pound US as well. But everything else, I don't think there's a chance of me getting anything else into profit today, really. That pound US is going to get to a level I can take off something. Aussie New Zealand is probably just going to sit around for the rest of the day. Unlikely we're going to move much. We've only quarter of an ADR away from getting out to ADR today. So I'll see how those go. Pulling back now. How often are you live trading? Every day? Oh, no, I'm not. That's a lie. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Twice a day. It's on the website. There. And there's members content if you want it as well. Back up into greed. So yesterday we went here. We're back up, and we're back up by a fair way as well. So this is bullish stock indices. I'm surprised we are moving up into this territory of what's going on at the moment, but we seem to be getting bullish signals. So. Right, I'll leave it there. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the hot if you're in the UK. If you're not in the UK, you've probably got hot anyway because everywhere else has it apart from us, unless you're in Antarctica. I'll be back Monday morning. We'll have a look at what's happened over the weekend. Obviously, if you want to get flat for the weekend as much as you can, do it, because obviously there is very high potential for escalation over the weekend, and obviously that's going to lead to big moves on all sorts of stuff. So just be careful at the moment. We could see things moving very quick. But we'll have a look at that on Monday. We'll have a look at what's gone on with the market. I'm only trading Monday and Wednesday next week. Friday, I'm not around. I'm packing because I'm moving at the minute. So next Friday, I'm not going to be around at all. And next week is a question mark because, when you move into new houses and you have to get broadband set up, and when you get broadband set up, you've no idea how powerful it is throughout the house. That's the situation I'm in. So I can't stream from my laptop. I can trade from it. But there may be a period where I'm a little bit stuck. So the week after next, I might just take off and just go, I'll get stuff sorted. I'm really not sure what's happening at the minute. But I'll update you more on that next week. And obviously stay tuned on Discord and Telegram. And obviously I can share what's going on there. But yeah, hopefully these drop today. Pulling back a little bit now. We're running into propulsion. So hopefully we're going to start to find some sellers kicking in. All right. So that's it. Have a good weekend. Anything you need, let me know. Discord or Telegram. Other than that, I will see you next time. Have a good weekend.